how does this redistricting and of the legislative districts relate to gerrymandering? We've heard that term. What is that?
All right, so every 10 years after the census, when they redraw the lines, each state has their own process for drawing the lines for electoral districts. And they'll do it both for the congressional level, the federal level, and for the state level. So what they do is they have to get the same number of people, whatever that is, in each district. But in some states, like California, they have an independent redistricting commission that will try to keep neighborhoods together and make sure that the districts are likely to result in a representative who's representative of that district demographically. And this is all done by people who are not elected and have agreed not to run for office for a period of years to try to keep it more objective.
Gotcha.
In other states, they do it differently, and the state legislature controls the line drawing process at both the state and federal levels, and it's very political. And they clearly intentionally draw these lines to make it more likely that their party will have as many representatives as possible at both the state and federal levels. Now, they may not expressly say so because one is not supposed to do it that way. But when you look at the crazy district lines that result, where they'll literally carve out certain communities, it's clear they're focusing on a result. And there are names for this: hack and crack, all these different things that you try to do to carve around districts that aren't going to vote the way you want it, to maximize the number of people you have in Congress and at the state level to keep a majority or even a supermajority in the state legislature. That allows you to do all kinds of policy making, and you can ignore the other party largely.
Gotcha.
But I just want to point out that drawing the lines with an independent commission that has objective guidelines doesn't necessarily mean yielding political power. That's why people don't want to do it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that. And California is exhibit A as to why it doesn't mean that. We Democrats have a supermajority in both houses of the state legislature, and the lines are drawn by an independent commission. So yeah, I wish we had more of that around the country. I think it would result in more representative governments, both at the state and federal level. But it's been a slow battle to try to get states to adopt the independent process.
Yeah, just seeing what's going on right now, it does seem in some communities that their representatives truly aren't representing the people, which makes me kind of sad, to see that happening. So
Yeah,
this is really interesting to talk about.
Yeah, and it could happen in any one instance that there's someone of a minority demographics in that district that may be a stellar representative of that district. But when you see a pattern of election cycle after election cycle, you get someone who's in the minority in that district, you begin to wonder what's going on, or if there's a minority that doesn't have a voice for election cycle after election cycle. That's not good either. So we need to do things so that we have more voices represented at the policy making table, because more perspectives leads to better